When trying to get information out of data that you've collected, two sets of data can be compared quite easily. One of the things that we'll need to practice is how to look at the measures of central tendency, such as mean and mode and median, and look at the differences between them in order to work out if there are any differences or similarities or patterns between the two sets of data that you've collected. So you'll have two means, two modes, two medians, and you can work out if there are variations, similarities, and what does this all mean. But one of the things we're going to look at in this lesson here is a scatter diagram. Now, this is a visual way of comparing two sets of information. Let's have a look at these two bits. We've got one set here that have got scores of 10 right through to 30, and there are variations in between. And another set of scores, Y we'll call it, also ranging from 3 up to 18. So there's a different range of scores, but we're going to see if there's any sort of relationship between them. And the way we do this is to actually plot them onto onto what we call a scatter diagram. Very similar to an XY number plane that we're used to when drawing straight lines and things like that. But this time we're going to actually plot the information. So on the x-axis, we're going to put the data for x. So these are things we've collected, and there it is there. And on the y-axis, we're going to have the other set of information and see how they compare. So you'll notice the scale 10, 20, 30, here 10, 20, 30, and we just plot the points. So when x is equal to 10, y is equal to 3. There's 10, and remember we're going up by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So our first dot will be around about here. 12 and 8, so we're going to go across to here. There's 12, 2, 4, 6, 8. And it'll just take a moment, but it's worth doing. So you plot yours while I'm doing mine here as well. Next one is 15 and 12, 10, 12, 14, 15. There's 10 and there's 12 right there. Now you notice it's not a straight line, but you'll see what happens in a moment. 18 and 10, there's 18 and there's 10. Now it's definitely not a straight line. 19 and 15, 19, and there's 10, 12, 14, 15. 22 and 13, 22, 10, 12, 13. 25 and 17, 2, 24, 25. There's 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. 27 and 22, well that'll be 28, there's 27, and there's 20, so 22 would be up here, and 30 and 18, so there's 20, we'll go back to 18. Now, you can clearly see that this is not a straight line, but what is also noticeable is that as the points are moving up as you go across, the scatter plot, this is called a scatter plot, shows what we call an upward trend. There's definitely a pattern occurring here, which means there is some sort of relationship. As one gets bigger, so does the other one. In some places, this is also called what we call a correlation. There is a link between these two. There's definitely some sort of pattern that occurs, one going up, the other one goes up as well. Now, this does not always happen. I'm going to show you a couple of other graphs that are here. But before we actually go on, let's write this down. Is there an upward, downward, or no trend? We would say in this case, there is an upward trend. And that simply means as one set of scores is going up in value, so is the other set. Right, let's have a look at the other possible trends that there are. Here we go, there's an upward trend. You'll notice that's what we mean, going up in that direction. A downward trend means as one goes up in value, the other goes down. So it's sort of a reverse trend, but it's still a pattern. And here, you can't actually pick any particular line that's happening. So we say there's no trend, which would suggest that there's no real relationship between the two sets of data. So there are the three possibilities, and this is a really good way to compare two different sets of data to see if there's any sort of relationship between them, and from there you can interpret the information accordingly.